Hey there, Ospreys. Welcome to another Department of Communication update with CommConnect. I'm Joshua Rigdon.
And I'm Tony Salazar, here to bring you up to date on what's going on this week. To start the show, let's talk about Media Week. Comm majors have a chance to connect with field professionals from October 10th to 14th. There will be an alumni panel and reception as well as a Wednesday lunch with professionals. Breakout panels will be held for students interested in public relations, advertising, video production, and journalism. Visit the QR code shown to register to see the list of events. What's up, Ospreys? Welcome back to another edition of International Insider on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, here to give you the inside scoop on Inside Swoop. First up, the nuclear-powered USS Ronald Reagan ran Navy drills with South Korean warships near the Korean Peninsula after North Korea sent nuclear-capable ballistic missiles over Japan earlier this week. According to the AP, the drills are aimed to bolster the Allies' defense capabilities. As tensions rise, South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said in a statement, quote, "We will continue to strengthen our firm operational capabilities and readiness to respond to any provocations by North Korea." Next up, a Russian cosmonaut who rocketed from the NASA Kennedy Space Center to the International Space Station arrived at her new home Thursday evening, where she and 3 other astronauts will stay for the next 5 months. Russian cosmonaut Anna Kikina is the first Russian in 20 years to launch from American soil to the International Space Station. She will join 2 other Russian cosmonauts who are already at the outpost and will live on the Russian side until she returns home in March. Lastly, in some international sports news, French head coach Vincent Collet hopes Joel Embiid will compete for a 2024 Olympic medal with his home country. Collet said, quote, "Now he has both nationalities and he has to choose one basketball nationality. The reigning Olympic silver medalist team hopes to have Embiid, but he told the AP that it is too early to think about a decision." Well, Ospreys, thanks again for joining me for another edition of International Insider and Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, and I will see you next time. While you should definitely speak with your advisor about the classes you want to take, there's another way to get some insight on some good electives to take for your communication major. Check out the CommConnect newsletter to find a list of recommended electives and tips to help you stay on track to graduate. You can find links to Osprey maps to help you ensure that your required course are met. Check out the CommConnect newsletter to take advantage of this great advice.
Now, moving to a new city can be tough, especially for those who are attempting to open up a new business. However, Hughes has felt the support of the Murray Hill community and loves the area he is in.
Hello, Ospreys. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Sports Recap on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, here to give you the inside scoop on what happened in the NFL this weekend. First up, the Minnesota Vikings got their first win of the London series this season against the New Orleans Saints, 28-25. New Orleans managed to stay in the game late despite starters Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Andres Pete being inactive for the game. Backup quarterback Andy Dalton drove to the Saints' offense to the Vikings' 43-yard line to give kicker Will Lutz a shot at a 61-yard kick with 2 seconds left in the game to take the game to overtime. However, Lutz was unable to make the game-tying kick. Next up, the Buffalo Bills rallied behind to defeat the Baltimore Ravens on a rainy Sunday afternoon, 23-20. The Ravens jumped out to a 23 lead with 3:39 left in the second quarter. The Bills went on to score 20 unanswered points as the Ravens failed to score during the entire second half. This game was the second straight home game this season that Baltimore let a double-digit lead slip away. Lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on primetime Sunday night 41-31. Patrick Mahomes threw for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Chiefs' offense dominated the normally stout Buccaneers defense, who only gave up 25 points in total for the first 3 games of the season. Despite losing by 10 points, the Buccaneers' offense showed steady improvement from the previous weeks as they scored more than 20 points for the first time this season. Well, Ospreys, that's it for this edition of the Monday Sports Recap on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, and I will see you next time. Thanks, Austin. The Jags suffered a disappointing defeat at the Houston Texans. Despite moving the ball up and down the field, the Jags only scored 6 points in their disappointing defeat. Trevor Lawrence spoke at his press game conference and said that he, as well as the entirety of the offense, struggled throughout the duration of the game.
Yeah, it was a rough day offensively and just frustrated, obviously. Just frustrating to watch the tape, and like I always say, watch the tape before I say too much. But really, obviously, I had a few plays out there that I want back. Missed a few. That one play in the red zone, obviously, just bad decision. Put us in a bad spot, and then just didn't capitalize.
Trevor also spoke about how it's an early season and they still have much room to improve throughout the rest of the year.
There's a lot of things, and like I said, we all just got to look in the mirror and hold ourselves accountable and get better. Like I said, it's the 5th game of the year. We got 12 games left. No panic, but we got to get better for sure. You can't play like that and expect to win. So,
looking to improve, the Jaguars will hit the road next week as they will go to face the Indianapolis Colts. Thanks, Austin. Coming off the bye, the Jacksonville Jaguars got a significant win over the Baltimore Ravens 28-27. Going into the last seconds of the fourth quarter, Doug Peterson decided to go for 2 instead of kick the extra point to take the game into overtime. Doug Peterson spoke to the media after the game about why he decided to go for 2.
What do we got to lose? I mean, you know, and this is something I told the staff during that last, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes of the game. It's like, you know, we got to think players, not plays, you know, and trust our guys. And, you know, and that's what this game, our guys believe. They believe, and once we scored that touchdown at the end, that, you know, they wanted to go for 2. It wasn't my decision. The players were like, let's go.
Doug Peterson also gave a significant amount of the credit towards the defense. The defense held the high-flying Ravens offense to only 4 field goals when they could have capitalized those drives on touchdowns.
I thought our defense really stepped up in the red zone today. Did a nice job there holding them to kicks. You know, obviously, you know, they're a team that is electric running the football. You know, Lamar's a tremendous guy. Really just holding them to those field goals, I think could have been a different football game. You know, if they score on 1 or 2 of those, you know, possessions could be different, but defense did a nice job down there.
Moving forward, the 4-7 Jaguars look to create a win streak as they are set to face the Detroit Lions next week in the Motor City. Back to you, Austin. What's up, Ospreys? Welcome back to another edition of the International Insider on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, here to give you the inside scoop on Inside Swoop. First up, a court in Guatemala convicted former President Otto Perez Molina and former Vice President Roxana Baletti on fraud and conspiracy counts. According to the AP, both resigned in 2015 and have been in custody on charges of permitting and benefiting from a customs graft scheme that let businesses evade import duties in exchange for bribes. Now, despite being convicted, their sentences have yet to be announced, and both were acquitted on illegal enrichment charges. In other news involving our president getting in trouble, Guatemalan President Pedro Castillo was ousted by Congress and arrested on a charge of rebellion after he attempted to dissolve the legislative body so he can take unilateral control of the government. Lawmakers voted 101-6 in favor to remove Castillo from office for reasons of, quote, permanent moral incapacity. Vice President Dina Boluarte will replace Castillo, becoming the first female leader in the history of Guatemala. Lastly, Moscow is looking to Iran to resupply the Russian army with drones and surface-to-surface missiles as Russia continues to struggle to maintain a steady supply of weapons for its war against Ukraine. A UN diplomat said Iran plans to sell hundreds of missiles and drones to Russia, which is in violation of the 2015 Security Council resolution. The anonymous diplomat said the sale of the weapons would have, quote, massive implications for security in the region. Well, Ospreys, thanks again for joining me for another edition of the International Insider on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, and I will see you next time. What's up, Ospreys? I'm Tony Salazar, and welcome to my last edition of Inside Swoop 90. Since the start of the fall semester, I have been in this studio providing you the inside scoop on Inside Swoop for international, national, and Florida news. Before the start of the semester, I knew little about the broadcast industry and how it worked on and off camera. With this internship, I have learned so much about the industry, and I feel like I've been prepared for a real-world job in the field. One of my weaknesses before this internship was editing. However, I turned my weakness into a strength thanks to everyday repetition of using Adobe Premiere Pro. I'd like to give a special thanks to Ken Thomas. Ken is one of the best professors I've had at UNF. He is a hands-off professor that gives us creative freedom to make mistakes and try new things. Next up, I would like to thank all my coworkers. I'm a big believer of you are only as good as those you work with, and I believe our staff here at Inside Swoop is one of the best. I'd like to thank Megan, Felicity, and Michael for training me in the weeks leading up to the internship to best prepare me for what was to come. Thank you to our directors, Daniel and Arturo, who made all the behind-the-scenes stuff possible. I'd also like to thank my fellow anchors, Austin, Josh, Grace, and Gianna. I believe we all did a good job holding each other accountable and having each other's backs to ensure we could provide our best work. Another thank you to Kenzie and Cole for helping Daniel and Arturo during our big shows on Fridays. And another thank you to Juliana, who made sure our videos were posted on Instagram every day for all of you to see. Now, before I say my final goodbye, I want to take this time to show you some of my silly mistakes and funny moments that I believe will give you all a big laugh. During the height of COVID-19 pandemic, I will do that again. I messed up. I lost my place.
Huh?
Doug Peterson spoke to the press conference. The Jacksonville Jaguars got a significant. With good people serving it, all it needs is just the community.
Community and loves the area he is in.
I didn't like that one. All right. Thanks, Austin. Despite messed me up. It's still early in the season, and the team has vast amounts of time to improve. We spoke about how it's an early season, and they still have much room to improve throughout the rest of the year.
Watch out for you.
Well, Ospreys, this is it. I promise to make Inside Swoop proud by being an ethical journalist and an even better person. I hope you had a wonderful time tuning into my shows every day. Thank you, God bless, and Tony out.